Curriculum and Textbooks, Lecture number 5. In a previous lecture, we talked about the advantages of textbooks, needs and importance of textbooks, and also disadvantages of textbooks. In this lecture, we will know the types of planning and teaching aids. We have three different types of planning according to time. The first one is long-term planning. We call it yearly or annual. Then we have the unit planning or weekly, also we can call it seasonally or before and after mid-year. Then we have the lesson planning or the daily plan. In each daily lesson plan, we have 5 to 6 components. We have objective and materials, then we have presentation, guided teaching, and background knowledge. A lesson objective can be one of the most important components of a lesson plan. Objectives define what students are going to learn during the lesson and explain how the learning is going to be assessed. While materials means if you prepare the materials ahead of the lesson, you may have more time to focus on teaching. You may choose to format the material component of a lesson plan by creating bold points for each material you and the students may need during the lesson. Here are some materials typically used during a lesson that you can consider adding to your list. For example, we have textbook, pen or pencil, lined paper, printed copies of worksheets, markers, scissors, calculators, tablet, laptops, and etc. On the other hand, we have presentation. This includes present the new material using the suitable techniques, write the procedures that you will follow to explain the new material. While the background knowledge, it is a helpful way to introduce most lessons is to activate your students' background knowledge on a topic. Here are a few strategies you can use in your lesson plan when deciding how to introduce background knowledge to your students. For example, KWL charts. That means students can create KWL charts that help them identify the information they are learning. The K stands for information they already know, and the W represents any information they want to know about the lesson's topic. Students use the letter L after the lesson to write information they learned, while multimedia, sometimes using visuals such as video clips or pictures, can help trigger, a student's background knowledge about a topic. Pretest teacher occasionally use pretest on that day's lesson to find out what students already know about the subject and to expand their understanding before beginning the lesson. After completing direct instruction, teachers can use a guided teaching strategy known as gradual release, which scaffolds the learning process into smaller pieces so that it is easier for students to understand. Using this method, learners can see how to complete the skill, practice, practice it in groups, and finally complete the skill on their own. Teachers sometimes call this method the I do, we do, you do method. Here is an example of how the gradual release method works during a lesson. I do. After direct instruction, the teacher models the correct way to complete the skills learned during the lesson. Students can watch, write what the teacher is doing on their worksheets, and ask questions. Then we do. After the teacher models the strategies needed to complete the work on their own, they work as an entire class to do another problem or questions on their worksheets. Teacher can also choose to let students work in table groups or pairs to continue the learning process. While you do, after practicing with peers, the teacher can give students the opportunity to complete some of the work on their own to measure their understanding of the content learned during the lesson. Closure and assessment. Closure is one of the last components of a lesson plan. It allows students to analyze and summarize what they learned in the lesson for the day, assess their understanding of what they learned, and inform the teacher of whether they met the lesson's objective. Here are some different closure and assessment techniques you can use in your lesson plan. The first one is exit ticket. An exit ticket is a question or series of questions teachers ask students to complete before the end of a class. Teachers can use exit tickets in a variety of ways depending on the time left in a class, the age of their students, and the subject they teach. Discussion boards. Students often use technology in many classes. You can let them reflect on the day's lesson by writing a question online and letting them use their cell phones or classroom tablets to respond. Online quiz games. Many educators create or use quiz games already created online to test their students' knowledge of the day's lesson. It can be an engaging way to assess the students' skills to get feedback on the effectiveness of teaching aids. Teaching aids such as wall charts, flashcards, drawings, very necessary for the teachers to do his job more effectively and realize the objective pictures, recordings, films, etc. are of the books. Teaching aids have a lot of advantages, such as stimulate students, arouse their interest, and make learning livelier and more interesting. Also, they encourage participation on the part of the pupils by creating real-life situations in the classroom. They save time and effort in the teaching process. Teaching aids has a lot of characteristics, like teaching aids are large enough to be seen by the students for whom they are used. Also, they are meaningful and they always stand to serve a useful purpose. They also have to be up to the mark and up to date in every respect. Teaching aids are simple, cheap, and may be improvers. Teaching aids are accurate and realistic. Also, they have to be according to the mental level of the learners. In next lecture, we will know how to write a lesson plan, a daily lesson plan, and how to create a suitable teaching aid. Thank you.